I still remember our wedding day 7 years ago. Stephanie looked beautiful in her white dress, and when she said those vows, I believed every word. For better or for worse, right, I thought we would face everything together, build a life that meant something. But I never imagined that worse would mean hearing my wife tell me she settled for me, that she could have married someone better. That night when those words left her mouth, something inside me broke. But what she did not know was that something else woke up too. Before I tell you how this all unraveled, I would love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments below. If you have ever felt undervalued in a relationship, hit that like button and subscribe, because what happens next, well, let me just say, karma has a way of coming full circle. So let me take you back to the night everything changed. Looking back now, I can see the signs were there for months. But when you love someone, you make excuses. You tell yourself things are fine when they are not. Stephanie and I had been married for 7 years. No kids, just the two of us in our small house in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado. I worked as a software engineer, pulling in about $85,000 a year. Not rich, but comfortable. Stephanie worked as a marketing manager, making around $70,000. We had 2 cars, took a vacation every year, lived what I thought was a normal, happy life. But lately something felt off. Stephanie seemed distant. She came home late more often, always tired, always glued to her phone. When I asked about her day, she gave short answers. Dinner conversations became rare. I thought maybe it was work stress. Her company had been going through changes, and she mentioned a big project. So I tried to be understanding. I picked up more of the household chores, did the grocery shopping, cooked dinner most nights. I thought I was being a supportive husband. She started going out more. Team dinners, she said. Client meetings that ran late. I never questioned it because I trusted her. Why would I not? We had been together for almost a decade, married for 7 years. I thought we were solid. Then came that Friday night in October. The air had turned cold, and I wanted to do something nice. I cooked her favorite meal, grilled salmon with asparagus. I set the table, lit a candle, opened a bottle of wine. I texted her around 6 in the evening, asking what time she would be home. No response. 7 o'clock came and went. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I ate alone, wrapping her plate and putting it in the fridge. She finally walked through the door at 10:30 at night. Her makeup was fresh, her hair perfectly styled. She wore a dress I had never seen before, something tight and expensive looking, and she smelled like alcohol. "Where were you?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. "Out with coworkers," she said, kicking off her heels and tossing her purse on the couch. "I waited all night," I told her. "I made dinner." She shrugged. "I told you I might be late." "No, you did not. You did not text me back at all." Her face hardened. "God, Abram, can you not be so needy?" I needed to blow off steam. That word needy hit me like a slap. I had spent the entire evening cooking, cleaning, waiting for her. And I was needy. "I just wanted to spend time with you," I said. "We barely talk anymore." "Maybe I need space from this boring life," she snapped. "Boring life?" My chest tightened. What does that mean? She crossed her arms, swaying slightly from the alcohol. "You want the truth, Abram?" "Yes," I said quietly. "I want the truth." She laughed, but it was not a happy sound. It was cold, bitter. "I settled for you. I could have married someone better, someone with ambition, someone exciting. But I chose safe. I chose boring." The words hit me like a freight train. My ears rang. My hands went numb. I stood there in our kitchen staring at the woman I had loved for years, and I could not speak. My mind raced through everything I had sacrificed for her. The job offer in California that I turned down because she wanted to stay near her family in Denver. The extra hours I worked to help pay for her MBA program. The times I put her dreams before mine. And she settled for me. She did not apologize. She just turned and stumbled toward the bedroom, mumbling something about being tired. I heard the door close. I stood there alone in the kitchen until 2 in the morning, staring at the cold salmon on the counter. I did not sleep that night. I could not. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard her voice. I settled for you. That night something inside me broke, but more importantly, something inside me woke up. Saturday morning came with heavy silence. Stephanie woke up late holding her head and groaning about a hangover. She shuffled into the kitchen where I sat with my coffee, staring at nothing. "Hey," she said quietly. "About last night. I am sorry. I was drunk. I did not mean what I said." I looked at her. Her eyes were puffy, her hair a mess. She looked sorry. But I did not believe her. "Okay," I said. She seemed relieved. "Good. I am going to meet some girlfriends at the spa. I will be back later." "Sure," I said. She kissed the top of my head and left an hour later. The moment her car pulled out of the driveway, I moved. I had been noticing things for weeks. The way she angled her phone away from me, how she changed her passcode recently, the way she jumped every time a notification came through. I wanted to trust her, but after last night, trust felt like a luxury I could not afford anymore. Her laptop sat on the dining room table. She had not changed that password. I knew it because she used the same one for years. I opened it and logged into her iCloud account. It synced automatically. My hand shook as I opened her messages, and there it was, a thread with someone named Derek. My stomach dropped as I started reading. The most recent message was from last night. "Derek cannot wait to see you tonight. Your husband still clueless, Stephanie. Yeah, he does not suspect a thing. God, I wish I had married you instead. Derek, soon, babe." Soon? I scrolled up. The messages went back 6 months. 6 months of lies. 6 months of late-night texts, plans to meet at hotels, complaints about me. "He does not have any ambition," she wrote to Derek. "Just his boring job and his boring routine." "You deserve better," Derek replied. "Leave him." "I am working up the courage," she wrote. "Just need the right moment." There were photos, too, pictures of them together at a restaurant I recognized. She told me that was a business dinner. Another photo showed them in a hotel room, her head on his shoulder, both of them smiling. That was the weekend she said she went on a business trip to Chicago. Every message was a knife in my chest. I kept reading, torturing myself with the truth. She mocked me. She laughed about how I tried to be romantic. She told Derek I was boring in bed. She said marrying me was the biggest mistake of her life. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the laptop. I read every single message, every complaint, every plan they made behind my back, every time she said she loved him instead of me. 7 years, 7 years of my life, and this is what I meant to her. I closed the laptop and sat there for a long time. I felt hollow, empty. But beneath that emptiness, something else grew. Anger. Not the hot, explosive kind. The cold, calculating kind. I grabbed my phone and started taking screenshots. Every message, every photo. I saved them all to my Google Drive. I downloaded everything I could find. Then I closed her laptop and put it back exactly where she left it. I did not cry. I wanted to, but the tears would not come. Instead, I sat there planning. I thought about her family. Her parents, Robert and Susan, had always treated me like a son. They were good people. They loved their daughter and were so proud of her. Her younger sister, Laura, looked up to Stephanie, wanted a marriage just like ours. They all thought Stephanie was perfect. An idea started forming in my mind. If she thought she could humiliate me in private, I would show her what public humiliation really felt like. I was not going to just walk away quietly, not this time. The next week was the hardest of my life. I had to act normal. I had to smile when Stephanie came home. I had to pretend everything was fine when she kissed me goodbye in the morning. Every word felt like glass in my mouth. She had no idea I knew. She continued texting Derek right in front of me, phone tilted just slightly away. She went out 3 more times that week, each time claiming it was work-related. Each time I checked her messages later and saw the truth. She was with him. I met with a divorce lawyer on Tuesday. His name was Patrick, and he had been recommended by a friend. I showed him everything, the messages, the photos, the timeline. "Keep this evidence safe," Patrick said. "Do not confront her yet. If she knows you know, she might delete everything and make this harder." I am not planning to confront her, I said. Not privately. He raised an eyebrow. What are you thinking? I told him my plan. He leaned back in his chair and whistled low. That is bold, he said. Maybe a little risky. But if you want to do it, I cannot stop you. Just make sure you are ready for the fallout. I am ready, I said. I had never been more sure of anything. The following Sunday was Susan's 55th birthday. The whole family was gathering at her house for a barbecue party. Stephanie had been planning it for weeks, excited to show off her perfect life to everyone. There would be about 20 people there, parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins. Stephanie valued her image above everything. This party mattered to her. Sunday afternoon arrived warm and clear. We drove to her parents' house together. Stephanie wore a beautiful yellow sundress and talked excitedly about the party. I nodded along my heart, pounding in my chest. When we arrived, the backyard was already full of people. Robert manned the grill flipping burgers and hot dogs. Susan greeted everyone with hugs. Laura ran over and squeezed Stephanie tight, telling her how beautiful she looked. Kids played on the lawn. Music played from a speaker. It looked perfect, like a scene from a movie about the ideal American family. Stephanie floated through the crowd laughing, hugging everyone, playing the role of the perfect daughter and perfect wife. I watched her and felt nothing but cold determination. Robert came over and clapped me on the shoulder. You are a good man, Abram, he said warmly. We are lucky to have you in the family. Thank you, Robert, I said, and I meant it. He was a good man. He deserved to know the truth. Laura found me later sipping lemonade by the fence. She smiled at me. I hope my marriage is as strong as yours someday, she said. You two are like relationship goals. I forced a smile. Thank you, Laura. Inside my stomach twisted. They all believed the lie. As the sun started to set, everyone gathered in the living room for cake. Susan sat in the center smiling as everyone sang happy birthday. She blew out the candles and everyone cheered. Then Robert stood up. All right, everyone, he said. Let us go around and say something nice about Susan. People took turns, sweet words, funny stories, heartfelt thanks. It was warm and genuine. Then Robert looked at me. Abram, you want to say something? I stood up slowly, my phone in my hand. My heart hammered against my ribs, but my voice was steady. Susan, I started. You have always treated me like a son. And Robert, you have been like a father to me. That is why this is so hard. The room went quiet. Stephanie looked at me, her smile faltering. I found out recently that Stephanie has been having an affair for the past 6 months with her coworker Derek. Silence, complete suffocating silence. You could have heard a pin drop. Stephanie stood up, her face going white. What, Abram? What are you talking about? This is insane. I have proof, I said calmly. I am going to send it to everyone here, right now. I opened my phone and used AirDrop to send the screenshots and photos to every iPhone in the room. About 15 people had iPhones. Within seconds, their devices buzzed. People looked down at their screens. I watched their faces change. Shock, disgust, disbelief. Oh my God, someone whispered. Laura stared at her phone, then looked up at Stephanie, tears already forming. Stephanie, how could you? Susan started crying, her hands covering her mouth. Robert's face turned red, his jaw clenched tight. This is not what it looks like, Stephanie cried, her voice rising. He is lying. He made this up. Robert held up his phone, his hand shaking. Do not lie to me. I am reading the messages, right here. I wish I had married you instead. You wrote that to another man. Stephanie looked around the room desperately. Everyone stared at her. Her aunts, her uncles, her cousins, all of them reading the messages, all of them seeing the photos. I loved you, Stephanie, I said, my voice breaking slightly. I gave you everything, and you told me you settled for me, so I thought your family should know what kind of person you really are. Stephanie burst into tears and ran out of the house. The door slammed behind her. Nobody followed. The room erupted. People talked over each other, Laura sobbed. Susan could not stop crying. Robert looked at me, his eyes filled with pain and something else. Respect, maybe. "I am so sorry," Susan said through her tears. "I am so sorry." Laura came over and hugged me tight. "You did not deserve this," she whispered. "None of this." "You are still family to us," Robert said firmly. "Always." Others came up to me. Aunts and uncles I barely knew offered sympathy. They were angry at Stephanie, not me. That surprised me. I stayed for another 20 minutes accepting their kind words, then excused myself. I drove home alone, the sun setting over the mountains. My hands gripped the steering wheel tight. I did not feel victorious. I did not feel happy, but I felt something I had not felt in weeks. Freedom. For the first time in a long time, I could breathe. The week after the party, Stephanie tried calling me dozens of times. She texted, begged, pleaded, "Please, we need to talk. I made a mistake. I love you. I can change." I blocked her number. I blocked her on every social media platform. I did not want to hear her excuses. She had nowhere to go. Her family was not talking to her. Robert told me later that he and Susan were devastated. They could not believe their daughter would do something like that. Laura completely cut contact with her sister, refusing to answer calls or texts. The news spread fast. Friends found out. Co-workers found out. And here is something I did not know: Derek had a wife. When she learned about the affair, she filed for divorce immediately. Stephanie's company transferred her to a different department to avoid workplace drama. Everything unraveled for her in a matter of days. Meanwhile, I filed for divorce. With the evidence I had, the process was straightforward. My lawyer, Patrick, handled everything. Colorado is a no-fault divorce state, but infidelity still mattered when dividing assets. I got the house. I got the better car. She got what she deserved, which was not much. The whole thing was finalized in 3 months. No drama, no big court battle, just signatures and paperwork. But even though the legal part was over, the emotional part was harder. I moved into a smaller apartment closer to downtown Denver. The first night there, I sat on my couch in an empty living room and felt the weight of it all crash down. I was alone, truly alone. No wife, no shared future, no plans. I thought about the past 7 years, the vacations we took, the lazy Sunday mornings, the inside jokes. Part of me mourned those memories. Part of me wondered if any of it had been real. I also questioned myself. Did I go too far? Was exposing her like that the right thing to do? Maybe I should have just left quietly. But then I remembered her words. "I settled for you. I could have married someone better." And I knew I had done the right thing. My best friend from college, Marcus, became my anchor during that time. He drove up from Colorado Springs every weekend to check on me. We would go to the gym, lift weights until my arms ached. We went hiking in the Rockies, climbing trails that left me breathless and exhausted. I needed to sweat out the pain. I needed to feel something other than hurt. Marcus never judged me for what I did. He just listened. "You did what you had to do, man," he said one day as we sat on a mountain peak looking out over the valleys below. "She disrespected you. You stood up for yourself. That takes guts." I joined a rock climbing club in Denver. I met people who knew nothing about my past. They did not know about Stephanie or the divorce or any of it. They just knew me as Abram, the guy who liked climbing and told decent jokes. It felt good to be seen as just myself. Work became a refuge too. I threw myself into projects, stayed late, took on extra responsibilities. My manager noticed. 3 months after the divorce, I got promoted to senior engineer. The pay bump helped, but more than that, it felt like progress. Like I was building something new. I started cooking more, experimenting with recipes I found online. I learned to play guitar, something I had always wanted to do but never had time for. I read books. I took long walks through the city at night. I learned to be alone without being lonely. 6 months after the divorce, I barely recognized myself. I had lost 20 pounds from all the hiking and climbing. I felt stronger, healthier, more confident. People noticed. Women at the coffee shop smiled at me. Co-workers complimented my energy, but I was not ready to date anyone. I needed time to heal, time to figure out who I was outside of being Stephanie's husband. I stayed in touch with Laura and Stephanie's parents. They reached out often, apologizing over and over, making sure I knew they still considered me family. Robert invited me to barbecues. Susan sent me birthday cards. Laura and I got coffee sometimes, and she told me she was proud of how I handled everything. I heard through Laura that Stephanie moved to California trying to start over. She got a new job, a new apartment, a new life. I did not ask for details. I did not care. She was not part of my story anymore. And that was the strangest feeling. After 7 years of being connected to someone, they were just gone. A stranger. I did not hate her. I did not wish her harm. I just did not think about her at all. That more than anything told me I was healing. I learned a lot about myself during those 6 months. I learned that self-respect is not selfish. When someone treats you like you are not enough, you have every right to walk away and to make sure they cannot hurt you again. I learned that the truth might be painful, but it is always better than living a lie. I could have stayed with Stephanie, pretended everything was fine, and I would have been miserable. I also learned about forgiveness, not the kind where you forget what happened, but the kind where you let go of the anger so it does not poison you. I forgave Stephanie, not for her sake, but for mine. Holding on to that bitterness would have destroyed me. And I learned something about love. Real love does not make you feel like someone settled for you. The right person will not make you question your worth. They will make you feel like they won the lottery just by being with you. I am not sure when I will be ready to date again. Maybe soon, maybe not for a while. But I know what I am looking for now. I know what I deserve. And I will never ever settle for someone who settled for me. People ask me sometimes if I regret exposing Stephanie the way I did, if I think it was too harsh, too public, too cruel. Honestly, no. She humiliated me in private for months, told another man she wished she had married him, mocked everything I did to make her happy. I just gave her a taste of her own medicine. I showed her family who she really was. And yeah, it hurt her. But she hurt me first. But more than anything, I am grateful. I am grateful I found out when I did. I am grateful I had the strength to walk away. I am grateful for the people who stood by me. And I am grateful for the person I have become because of it all. If you are going through something similar right now, if someone in your life makes you feel small or unworthy or like you are not enough, I want you to remember this. You deserve someone who chooses you every single day, not someone who chose you because they had no better option. You deserve someone who sees your value, who respects you, who loves you without conditions. Do not ever settle for less than that. And do not ever let anyone make you feel like you are the one who is not enough. Because you are. You always were. So what do you think? Did I go too far? Or did Stephanie get what she deserved? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you of your own worth. Take care of yourselves out there, and remember, you deserve to be someone's first choice, not their backup plan. Until next time.